Hi, I'm Spencer,
And I'm Blake.
and you're about to get jumped.
Welcome to episode 269 of Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, a weekly podcast where we watch the anime so you don't have to.
But you should still totally watch the anime.
This week on Get Jumped, we're watching Jujutsu Kaisen episodes 48 through 51, plus the first 3 episodes of Daemons of the Shadow Realm, where the guys who are sent to kill you are actually either your secret allies or your long-lost siblings.
Well, you know, one of the things that's mostly true inside of the world is that there is somewhere in some place trying to murder you.
Mm-hmm.
You may or may not know them, but they're somewhere in the world, and they're plotting your demise. They might not even know that they're doing it. They're like a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
And one time you're going to walk past them, and they're going to look up at you, and they're going to hear you talking about something dumb like kumquats or something, and that's going to be their trigger word, and then they're just going to jump out like a fucking ninja, and also activate your latent tendencies to summon a giant group of mechanized warriors that are going to come out and fight for you as well.
Yep.
And that's just how life is. Like, that's every anime protagonist's life.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's jump in.
I'm just trying to support you on that.
Just it's just what it is. It's just anime life.
We don't make the rules, we just report on them.
Yeah.
Speaking
we just tell the news.
Speaking of things that we're reporting on, speaking of news, boy, do we have some. It's been a while since we've been here. We did talk about some of this on our Bleach episode, but we're going to have to talk about it again because Bleach is for patrons only. So it's time for Rapid Fire. Boy, do we have a lot of news session. Are you ready? Spencer, are you ready?
Yeah.
X-Men 97, Season 2. Premieres July 1st is how old this news is because we're recording this on July 15th. There are, I think, 4 episodes of X-Men 92, or X-Men 97 Season 2 available currently. I've watched 2 of them. They're very good. Just like Season 1, it's real good. So X-Men 97 Season 2 is out now. I guess we'll probably cover it at some point. Like we did Season 1, maybe we'll do a special episode. I don't know. Tell me what you want, listener. Anything to say on that, or we move on?
Nah, it's good. I want to watch it, but I haven't.
Pokemon Champions is on mobile. If you have not been aware of this, Pokemon Champions is a sort of Pokemon spin-off where only the battling part of the main series games has shown up as its own mobile and or Switch title. This was released on Switch originally. It is now on mobile as of mid-June, so about a month ago it came out as we're recording this. So if you're interested in Pokemon battling, Pokemon Champions is there for you. It is only Pokemon battling. So if you're going in thinking there's going to be some amount of adventure, there's not. There is a light gacha mechanic where you can encounter 10 Pokemon for free every 22 hours, I want to say. And you either get to rent them for a brief period of time for free or cheap, or you can use some in-game currency to permanently recruit them. The in-game currency is pretty easy to come by. You really don't have to buy anything. Also, if you have played any of the games and you have the app Pokemon Home, you can connect that to your Pokemon Champions account and transfer Pokemon over to it. Pokemon Champions does have a limited Pokédex, so you won't be able to transfer just anybody, but you can bring in anybody from home. There are some complaints about box space, so if you're looking to dig into it, you should not have to worry about recruiting a couple of Pokemon to try them out at the beginning. But if you're digging a little bit deeper, you might want to look up the box space restrictions and see what you might want to do about that. All right, any thoughts on that, or we move on?
Yeah, it's sort of like Pokemon Stadium is what I've seen, except for sort of worse right now.
That's really subjective. I've played it. It's really fun. If what you want is Pokemon Stadium, as in so it's only PvP. Other than a tutorial, you only battle other players. So if you're interested in battling Pokemon, that's what Pokemon Champions is. There is nothing else to it. Now, that said, that sounds like reductive, but battling Pokemon is an extremely deep and complex system. There is a metagame, there's counter meta. You can bring your favorite and build a team around it. It's really fun. I've never been a competitive Pokemon battler because the barrier for entry was high. The barrier for entry has lowered with every generation since at least 8. and it has never been lower. Pokemon Champions is super beginner friendly from the standpoint of getting a Pokemon and making it battle ready. It can be a
Yeah.
little obtuse if you don't have any Pokemon experience. There are a lot of moving pieces in a Pokemon battle, and a lot of being good at competitive Pokemon battles is having a certain minimum level of knowledge of what each Pokemon can do, what their stats are, what their abilities are, what their possible moves are, and predicting your opponent. It's about outsmarting your opponent. So there is a a high barrier to entry if you're trying to be really good at it. But if you're
Yeah.
trying to get started, there has never been a lower barrier to entry. It's free to start. I've played a little bit of it, and I have not brought any Pokemon in from Pokemon Home, and I have a bunch of them. I have a full team that's done quite well. So if you're nervous about getting started, about needing to pay, it's not pay to win at all. Other than I guess the roulette might never give you like the top, 5 or 6 Pokemon that are being used, and that can be frustrating. But like outside of that, you can still build a really good team. The game sets you up with a decent team to start with, and you get you get to pick one of 10 Pokemon, I think, at the end of the tutorial, and then you get a pre-designed team built around that. So if you're really stickler about getting a specific Pokemon, go look up the starter teams and see if you can get it on one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's worth trying out if you've ever been curious about Pokemon. A lot of people view Pokemon from the standpoint of the main series games, where they are pretty beginner friendly. They are kid friendly games. They are somewhat notoriously easy, and they're just sort of like a fun, chill adventure. Competitive battling is not that. Competitive battling is high level Magic the Gathering. Competitive battling is chess. It's something that you have to like practice at and be good at. And all of that to say, this is the most accessible way to try it out. And so if you've ever been curious about could Pokemon be a deeper, more complex game, here it is for free on your phone right now.
Yeah. Speaking of really good entrance places for people, the One Piece new saga is going to be coming out. It's produced by Studio Wit. It's going to be broken down into, gosh, I think it's only 10 episodes. And it's
Oh
going to be
wow.
like 49-minute episodes, like close to an hour long episodes,
So
where they're just going to cut
kind of like the
every
live
bit of
action,
filler
but
out
it's
of it.
animated.
Yeah. But man, oh man, does it look fucking great.
Yeah, so
So
this is a
I'm
re-release
very,
of
very excited
season
to see it.
1, and Spencer and I talked about this maybe on the Bleach episode that like it seems like they're going to re-release up until they meet a point where the current anime quality level makes them happy, and then they'll stop re-releasing is our kind of current
Yeah.
expectation. Is that right?
Yeah, this is
All
this
right.
is an interesting thing
There's a
that
new
they've
anime.
decided to do. I
Yeah, go.
yeah, I, I just think that Oda, I think, has gotten to a point where he's trying to fix the sins of the past, and I very much appreciate that.
Well,
So,
it is
anyways,
interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of writing done on this throughout our lives about just sort of him as a creator and his process of creating this, and he is still in the middle of it. It is currently ongoing as a manga and an anime. So that story
yeah,
has not been finished being written yet in the literal sense, but also the meta sense. And
hmm,
I'll be really curious as somebody who really loves to hear how the sausage gets made, to see the inevitable, eventual sort of overview of him as a creator and of this. I mean, I think even if you don't like it, and even if it's not for you, I think it's hard not to say that this is a masterwork from some level of objectiveness. Like I have not
yeah,
engaged with a lot of One Piece, and I used to not like it. And despite the fact that I am almost entirely outside of the fandom, just from the standpoint of someone making something this large that is this consistently well regarded and this popular and successful, it's similar to Pokemon, right? Pokemon is the most successful media franchise in the world right now, and
hmm,
you don't have to like Pokemon or have ever interacted with it to have a certain degree of respect for something that's able to do that and become that successful after 30 years. And One Piece has been going for what, 20 years or something? Maybe
Very
more.
long time.
So it's, I mean, it is an institution, and something like that, as bad as the current Star Wars movies may have been, Star Wars is still an institution, right? There's a certain level of respect, whether or not you think a thing is good, and that respect can be squandered. And I don't want to get into a whole Star Wars thing, but like, I'm just trying to throwing out examples of like at a certain point, whether or not it's for you, whether or not you ever thought it was good, there's a certain level of sort of cultural adoption that I think earns a minimum level of respect, and One Piece has definitely far exceeded that. I think it's super interesting.
Right.
All right,
Right.
dinosaurs versus ninjas. There's a new anime. It's an original anime announced from the director of the Apothecary Diaries. This anime is called Jurassic Shadows. It looks stupid in a way that I'm gonna enjoy. The trailer, there's a little trailer, and it's like dudes that turn into like dinosaurs, and they fight ninjas. And I don't know what else you want. So get into it. I'm looking to see if there's a looking to see, is there a release date listed on this Crunchyroll article? I don't see one. Maybe there hasn't been one yet. Official website. Ryu
Okay.
Geisho.
Anyways,
Oh, it's in
let's
Japanese. I'm
leave
not gonna
dumb
have an answer
dinosaur
for you.
land.
Ugh, dumb. No, you're right. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It looks so stupid, but like
Yeah.
in a cool, fun way.
Apparently, there's going to be a re-release of Akira. It's going to be in the United States. Go see it because Akira deserves to be seen as many times as you can.
Specifically a 4K and IMAX re-release that's coming to the US and Canada. Let me see. Is there a date on that? I linked another Crunchyroll article. Please live faster. September 4th, 2026. So that's coming up pretty soon. If you're interested, keep your eyes peeled. It's probably going to be a limited release. So if you want to watch it, put it on your calendars and pay attention to it. Yep. I was not able to link an article for this next thing because I saw it on Reddit that was connected to a Japanese Twitter post. So it's been officially revealed, but I couldn't find like a good article on it yet. But there is a new Digimon manga coming out. It is entitled Digimon Eggs, which is like an ungoogleable title because Digimon Eggs, that's a thing that has been around since the first Digimon series. That's where Digimon hatch from. So it's really hard to find information on this, or at least it was a week ago when I found this information. Serialization is announced to begin on October 3rd. Digimon has, as you know, if you're listening to this podcast, been in something of a renaissance for a few years now. They just completed the run of their online graphic novel plus online web novel, which were two sides of the same story. Digimon Liberator, that finished earlier this year, maybe late last year. And was pretty well received. So Digimon Eggs is not a direct sequel to that or anything like that. If you know Digimon at all, you know that for the most part, no single Digimon property is connected directly to another Digimon property, with almost a small handful of exceptions. But for the most part, it's an anthology series where each one is its own thing. So this is almost certainly a new take on Digimon, but because of the success of that, I think there's a reasonable assumption that we might be able to get our hands on an official translation here in the West as well. But no news yet.
Yeah.
Are we still talking news?
There's going to be a Naruto trading card game.
Yeah.
I've heard about this one. People are excited about it because apparently it's going to have like a cool mana system. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm a big trading. Yeah, go ahead.
There have been like infinite new card games, I feel like, coming out recently.
Card games are hot right now.
Yeah, mostly because I think they, to a limited degree of success, are coming out more and more and more and more because there is like this weird boom that happened during COVID times, specifically with Pokemon. That's been the most lasting one, where it's just like people buying that have no idea what the fuck they are just because they have turned into a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, I can open money. So because it has just become gambling, a lot of people are really into it. That's what happens, weirdly enough, with another very recent card game, which is the One Piece card game. It is very new, but it is also very good. To play the actual game is pretty fun. But the problem with it is that while they were releasing it, people's response to it was just like during the One Piece fervor that was happening at the same time. So they were just like, we're just going to buy a fuck ton of them and scalp a ton of them.
Yeah.
So people that wanted to play this new fun game just didn't have the access to it. So there is a possibility that this is part of the end of that fervor. There is also a possibility that it is just a love letter card game that is being created much like the One Piece card game was. Because the One Piece card game has a lot of really good synergistic, weird, dynamic play. And it makes it a actual good game. Whereas like a lot of the other ones are just kind of like release so that you can get, some sort of payback or try to jump onto the, the hype of something else. If this was something that was just trying to jump on the hype train, they're a little late for Naruto.
Uh-huh.
So I'm hoping it's just gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I'm almost certainly not going to buy any of this because I already play and buy Magic and Lorcana and Digimon. So trading card games are not a cheap hobby, and I'm trying to somehow maintain three of them. So this is not, I am not available. I'm not emotionally open for another member of that family in my heart. And if there is a property that I'm more interested than not, Naruto's probably up there. I'm a big Naruto fan, obviously, and we cover it here. And you might not realize that I'm a big fan from our coverage, but I am. And yeah, I'm fascinated by this. I love game rules and specifically card game rules. I am really, like I said, I love how the sausage gets made. I love thinking about the ways that people iterate on things like, as you said, like an interesting mana system, or how do I pay the cost to play my cards? It's one of my favorite things about the Digimon card game, right? Like, I'm a huge Digimon fan because of nostalgia, but I also think that the Digimon Heart card game has one of the most interesting and unique how do I play my cards cost systems that I've seen in a TCG. Whereas like Magic is the OG, and Lorcana has an interesting iteration on that that's just like a little bit more player friendly, but a little bit more restrictive in your deck building. One Piece goes a little similar to Lorcana, and I'll be curious to see what Naruto does with this. I think it's going to be really fun to look at how the game plays. I'm really anxious to see any information we can get on the rules of the game because that is my jam. Um, that said, I agree with Spencer that there has been a real inflation in card games right now because during the pandemic lockdowns, people started making tons and tons of money on a secondary market with Pokemon. And so now we're in currently like a TCG bubble that is Pokemon centric, but it's not limited to Pokemon.
Yeah.
But because of that, there have been card games that are made to be a good game and not just a way to sell more stuff with this character on it. I will say that Naruto, as listed in this article, had an original TCG that ran for 7 years, from 2006 to 2013, which is a long run for a TCG. Most TCGs that come along don't break into the big three, which are Magic, Lorcana, Jesus, Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh are the big three card games. And my understanding is that Yu-Gi-Oh has been struggling a little bit too because it's not very beginner friendly. But you know, we've seen out of this TCG boom, Disney released its new card game, Lorcana. Digimon has come out and has done pretty well. One Piece is doing quite well. Gundam has also done fairly well. Digimon, One Piece, and Gundam are all made by Bandai. There are some pretty significant and noticeable similarities in their card design, and in some ways, the games feel a little bit like iterations on each other. But Naruto is coming out from Bandai, so it's yet another card game coming from this company that has been having a lot of success with it recently. So
Yeah.
I would not be terribly surprised if it finds a niche market. That said, I also agree with you, Spencer. This is not exactly striking while the iron is hot.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right.
There is apparently another Digimon Switch game, Nintendo Switch 2 game that's going to be coming out.
It just
Um,
came out on Friday. It's called Digimon Story Time Stranger. We probably talked about this on the show a little while back because it came out on PS5, on Steam, I think probably on Xbox, whatever. Um, and now it has been ported to the Switch. You can buy it on Switch 1 or Switch 2. I believe that the Switch 1 comes with a cartridge that has a free upgrade for your Switch 2 so you can play the like Switch 2 quality version on your Switch 2, and I
ooh.
think that the Switch 2 version is a digital only. It's like a key card or whatever, and I know there's a lot of controversy around whether or not we actually get to own our games. So do some research on that. I have not been able to find like a definitive answer. I just kind of saw some discussion on Reddit about it, and that discussion was before the official release of the game. But
Yeah.
double check on that if that's something that you care about. You could buy the Switch 1 version, play it on the Switch 2 version, and have a Switch 2 version experience. But this game is now available. There is DLC to purchase that has come out on the PlayStation. I don't know if it is currently available in game on the Switch version. I believe I saw that it was written that it would be rolling out on the Switch version. So I think there's still some features that you can't get access to that you would be able to have access to today if you bought the PS5 version or whatever. But yeah, this is something exciting, and we mentioned it in at least one of our interviews. I don't think this interview has come out yet at the time of recording, but we talked to a guy named Bill Butts, who was one of the voice actors in this.
Yeah, we talked to Bill already. We released the Bill episode. So.
Okay, good. So I know that that came up.
As of now, people that have seen this episode and listened to this episode have the chance to listen to all of those.
Okay.
So they will all be out before this episode comes out.
So yeah, so we talked about it briefly on there, and he was like, "Oh, I mentioned how big of a Digimon fan I was, and he mentioned that he had played some characters, and I was like, oh, I haven't had a chance to play it. So here's my chance. I've got a Switch 2. I'm gonna try and pick this up. So if you're out there and you have been, looking through the window of not having a PS5 or a computer that can play this through Steam, but you do have a Switch, here's your chance.
Yeah.
Good
All
Lord.
right. Now
All
let's
right.
get into our screen time for the week.
Woo.
Demons of the Shadow Realm, a show that I have been absolutely in love with so far. It's made by one of the most legendary manga creators. I don't know. I would argue that she is probably one of the best manga creators, especially story wise. That's a man. I cannot remember how to pronounce her name.
It's written right there. Can you read it?
I think it's Hiromu Arakawa.
Yeah, that was great.
But I don't want to butcher anything. She is most famously known for creating Full Metal Alchemist. God, every time I say that, all I can think about is like the mid-credit scenes where it's like Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist. But anyways, man, this show is so good. Watching the first 3 episodes of it is just it's blown me away. Just so much so far. And I cannot wait to watch more of it. I am currently watching it very, 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 very slowly with my person.
Okay.
And she is more difficult to nail down getting episodes to watch with. But we have watched a couple together, and man, this show just is astounding to me.
Yeah, I know this was one of your big hits, and we actually put it on our review list because of how enthusiastic you were about it. So, if you don't know, as he said, Hiromu Arakawa, the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist, released this. It's serialized at Square Enix's shonen manga anthology magazine called Monthly Shonen Gangan. It started in December of 21. The anime TV series came out this year in April 2026, produced by Studio Bones, which is one of the good ones. So, the story is there's a guy who lives in an old-timey village up on, a forested Japanese hill. and he's out hunting, and he looks up, and you see what looks to be those little like sort of water vapor trails that you can see coming off of a plane's wings,
Yeah.
but there's no
But you don't see the
plane.
plane.
And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there's a dragon." And then you hear like a helicopter, and he comments on a different type of dragon, and then suddenly there are like modern soldiers parachuting in from a
Yeah.
helicopter, and you can see the plane, and something's happened, and it turns out that he was in the village situation, and they were being
He was in the village situation.
yeah, they were being magically separated from the modern world and non-magically tricked into thinking that it was not modern times. And then the part of the show that I did not like is when everybody gets horrifically murdered,
Yep,
and
it's pretty bad.
it was really rough, super violent, and I was like, oh, maybe this is not for me.
Yeah.
And
You didn't like the Jaws monster?
no, well, I did like the monster in theory, but in practice, it was a little rough. As you know,
She's just
one
like,
of the
chomp,
things that
chomp,
I
chomp, chomp,
really
chomp.
don't like is gruesome violence, especially when it involves people being eaten. And
Yeah.
so I did not care for that shit at all.
Yeah.
Once everybody was dead, it got a little bit better.
Yeah.
So,
Then you got to meet right and left, and
uh-huh.
man, they're fun as fuck.
Yeah, after
They're like,
this is like the first episode is like suddenly you find out he was in a magic of the village, which is fun. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's so fun." And the plane moment was so great, and then it pays off right away. But then it pays off immediately into this sort of like almost torture porn like murder sequence. And then like this character with this like bitey thing kills this like girl's mom in front of her by like having her they have like spirit companions, and the spirit companion like bites the mom's head off in front of this little girl, and I hated that
yeah.
so much.
It's
And
pretty
then
brutal.
this character seems otherwise like she's designed to be sort of endearing and probably a future ally, and I was like, this is a hard sell. uh
Yeah.
so
For
anyway,
for you specifically, Blake.
I think it's
Everybody else was just like rule of cooling here so much.
I don't know. I'm pushing back on that. I understand that I'm turned off by this kind of like intense violence more than a lot of people, especially maybe a lot of people in the anime fandom. But my pushback is when you're designing a character that is supposed to be endearing, you got to be really careful about how bad if you've got your Wolverines or your Lobos or whatever your like anti-hero is, there is a sliding scale of how much bad shit they can do and how they can react about it. And casually dispatching a little girl's mom in front of her while she's running away and defenseless is pretty tough. That is
Yeah.
not an endearing quality, and that is not really something you can come back from. So I'm like,
Well, you sort of have to understand who these people actually are.
yeah. So
Which is it's gonna take a minute to get there.
we don't get there in these
But
first three episodes, but what we do learn is that there is this mountain society has some sort of like mystical destiny, and this main character guy is connected to that destiny. He has a twin
mhm.
sister who he thought was on this mountain with him, but it turns out that his parents fled the mountain community instead of died, as he was led to believe. And they fled with his sister. And the sister that he's been living with is some sort of like homunculus simulacrum something. It is not explained in these first three episodes. And the real sister is on the team of the baddies in here killing everybody. And so at the end of episode 3, what we've learned is that there is a sect of people who have left this village society and joined the modern world, who are committed to maintaining the protection of this village society, which doesn't usually need protection because it's hidden behind a magical barrier, and you have to know the exact way to get there. It's you can get there by chance, but it's difficult. Um, and so they don't need a lot of protection, but there is sort of like running supplies and maintaining the ruse and all that shit. And so we know that there's the secret society, and we know that the main character wants to connect to his sister somehow, and that's kind of as far as we get in the first 3 episodes. And to me, as somebody who has not watched more and was really, really put off by that first episode, I think if you can ignore the hyper violence and unnecessary killing of the first episode, it seems to be pretty clearly setting you up to find out that the people who invaded his village are not as bad as they seem and maybe are actually the good guys, and that the village is not as good as it seems and maybe are actually the bad guys.
Yeah.
So but we don't get there in episode 3, so it was like I really enjoyed everything but about half of the first episode. And that first episode being kind of, it's sort of like, you have the like introduction to the characters and their situation, and then something happens, and the first thing that happens is something that I really, really, really didn't like. And so it sort of
Yeah.
like put me off despite the fact that I enjoyed the rest of it. I was like, yeah, but that horrific thing still happened and these characters are still living in the wake of that.
Yeah. So Blake has some feelings.
Yeah, but I'm curious to know what happens, and I don't know. A part
Yeah.
of me is like the writer is going to try and sort of like write a justification for this, and I'm not quite sure she's going to manage it because of how bad I think this thing was, and I want to see what happens. But
Yeah.
despite all this, I think it was really well made, and it's pretty interesting, and I think you should watch it.
Yep. Hey, guess what? We
Oh,
have an anime that we have to cover this week.
so much to talk about in
So
36 minutes.
yeah, so okay, let's first and foremost say this. Blake has a minute on the clock.
Oh,
This is a
fuck.
big ask this week. Blake, whenever you're ready, let me turn on the timer
uh,
and go.
Yuji is our main character. He has encountered things called curses, which are kind of like demons, by ingesting the finger of a super powerful demon who has now taken up residence in his body. He was joined into a secret group of sorcerers called Jujutsu at the Jujutsu High School, where they learned to exorcise these demons, and he has been kept alive by the big man on campus, a guy named Gojo. And people want him dead because he has these fingers inside of him, and that's a way to destroy them forever. Gojo has now been sealed away by the bad guys, who also unleashed a bunch of demons on Shibuya. And Yuji is out there trying to deal with these demons, but a hit has been placed on him, and a guy named Yuta, who used to go to his school, has now been placed as the hit man. And Yuji is traveling around with a previous enemy named Choso. And there's also an ally from the Zenin clan that is going to have some stuff
And
going on too. God damn.
So, this is your warning before you start watching these episodes. This has a big, 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 giant thing that you need to learn inside of this world. It is a rule book for the thing that we are about to start going over called the culling game. If you are somebody who is just watching the anime and you are watching along with us or rewatching along with us, there is something that you need to do. You need to pull up Jujutsu Kaisen manga and you need to go to chapter 143 and then you need to read through the rules of the culling game.
Yeah, or
A
like
lot of
find
people,
a wiki page. I'm sure there is one.
yeah, there is a wiki on Jujutsu Kaisen wiki that you can go to if you want to. However, this is the rules expansion. The start rules, the basic rules, are on chapter 143. It's done very succinctly inside of the manga. As I told Blake about this yesterday, there is also a rules expansion thing that is going to happen throughout the culling games, and because of that, you need to know the basic rules as they become more complex and weird going into this. It is a big ask for a lot of people. It created a lot of a stir, and a lot of people have marked this chapter as being the chapter they go back to, and they have as a reference point when they're reading the other chapters in order to remember what the fuck is happening inside of this game.
Yeah.
So just be aware that this is about to happen.
As an outsider to this process, process, my personal experience and my husband's experience, who is, as you know, watching along with me. Now that we've gotten him into a couple of anime, this is one of the ones that he watches with me. So we watched this. Let's see. So we're recording this on July 15th because we went to Anime Central and had a few weeks off. The last time we recorded a Jujutsu Kaisen was on April 9th. So we're on a 3-month break, which this is, in some ways, it's fine because this is the beginning of season 3. Also, side note, when we clicked on the next episode, it started playing a movie instead of season 3. And I did a quick Google, and the movie is basically like an amalgamation of previous episodes that you've already seen. So you can skip it. It's probably helpful as an extended previously on, but I skipped it. I didn't watch it. Maybe I should have watched it because both Pete and I were like, what the fuck is happening and who are any of these people? Because there's a lot going on. We have just finished a big arc, and that arc did not reset the status quo. It actually shook it up pretty significantly. And personally, I found these episodes almost too obtuse to follow. And that is before getting to the part where the rules were explained.
Yep.
I also have not read this. And I did not pause the episodes to read the rules, even though I had the subtitles on and the rules popped up on the screen. If you have, number one, Crunchyroll, what the fuck are we doing? If it's presented in Japanese, why do I have to turn on subtitles entirely in order for the Japanese text to be translated on the screen? I don't like watching things with subtitles, but I also don't like watching anime where there's a bunch of text on the screen that you don't translate. So I have to turn the subtitles on, or I will not know what the fuck's happening because there's a bunch of text on the screen with important information. I hate that. Please fix your app. But also, there's just a whole section where there's like 10 basic rules or something like that. 10 or so basic rules. And they are written like rules. If you've ever read a game rule book or something like that, they have that sort of like exact legalese to them. And characters are talking while they show up on the screen. And they show up on the screen long enough for you to get, I don't know, about halfway into the second one before it flips to the next card. And there's like 5 per page. I think all 10 rules, the rules are split in half, and the first half is shown for, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds maybe. And then the second rule. And it's legalese, and someone is talking, and you have to pause it or pull it up somewhere if you're going to engage with this information at all, and I did not do either of those. I don't know what the fucking rules are at all. I could not tell you.
Yeah. So let's start with episode 48, Execution. This episode is going to be happening months after the Shibuya incident has happened. Tokyo has been infested with curses. Itadori and his brother Choso are running around, killing curses, knocking them off because there's too many of them there.
2 best friends that anyone could have.
Yeah, and meanwhile, there is a very, very important change of hands and power happening. One of the main clans inside of the world of Jujutsu World, the Zenin clan, is changing hands because the leader of the clan is dying. In fact, when we see the opening of this, there are 3 brothers. They are sitting down, and they are finding out that the head of the clan has died. He has passed on in his will the head of the clan to the youngest of the brothers, which is going to be Naobito. And Naobito is, he's a dick. It turns out the 2 older brothers both have a kind of a mark on them, and they make them the least passable to society to be the leaders. One of them is just a crazy person. The other one has a big besmirch on him, which is the fact that he birthed 2. Well, he didn't birth them because he's a man, but he
he participated.
He participated in making.
I'll explain
2
it to you
daughters.
later. I'll explain it to you later.
Yeah, they're twins. They Maki and Mao, and they one of them, Maki and Mai, and one of them has jujutsu abilities, but she's useless other than that, and the other one has no jujutsu abilities, but she's super strong and has a heavenly pact. They were like, well, if these were one jujutsu sorcerer, it would be fantastic. Spoiler alert for later. Anyways, this big thing that had happened in his life is that the reason that he, the eldest of the brothers, the one that should be taking over the Zenin clan, is not getting the chance to do so. And so he is not happy about this. But at the same time, the head of the clan understands that the person that he's passing it along to is a jackass. So when he's passing it along, he passes along with an additional rule, which is basically like a check system for the government of their family, which is basically like the other brothers can veto you doing dumb shit with our clan's super powerful weapons that we have. And so he's like fine. I'm gonna have this, right? And they were like, well, actually, it's not gonna be fully going to you, because there's this other person that is actually taking over the clan as long as he can be found, and which is Fushiguro.
Yeah,
And he's like,
there's
that's fucking bullshit.
yeah, there's also some clause that has to do with Gojo and whether or not Gojo is still around triggers the Fushiguro contingency, and it's triggered because Gojo just got locked away. So
Yes.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and so Fushiguro needs to be found, and so Nobito is just like, fuck, or not Nobito, God, Naoya?
Yeah.
Naoya. Nobito was the future, the other head of the clan before he died. Naoya is the guy that is going to go and he's going to find Yuji, and he's going to be like, okay, I need to get Yuji in order to make Megumi come out, in order for me to be able to kill Megumi so that I can take my rightful place.
Yeah, I know that
get rid of all
Megumi
this
is
bullshit.
friends with Yuji, so if I attack Yuji,
Yeah.
Megumi will come after me, and then I can kill him, and then there's no Megumi, and then I get to be in charge. So
Yeah.
he attacks
All of
Yuji.
this is Yeah, all of this is a badass lead up to a incredible fight.
Yeah, so Yuji gets attacked. Yuji is with Choso, who is the blood user, and Naoya shows up and attacks them, but also at the same time, well, Naoya has super fast something. He can see 24 frames ahead, which means something. Basically,
Okay.
he has mild precognition and is really fast.
So it's different. So the way that he works is that he can move exponentially faster as long as he is able to move without touching somebody in these 24 frames of speed is what they say it as. And they're basically just saying that like he can see slightly ahead. He has to be able to see the slight ahead with movements that he would theoretically be able to make. So he's basically making the choices of the steps that he is going to make before he makes them. And because he can make those in a way that's part of his sorcery ability, he can move to that place and continue to move to that place faster and faster exponentially until he finally touches something, and then because he touches it, it touches him, and he has to stop for a second, so that he can move into a fight sequence and like punch incredibly fast, but like each time it touches for that punch, there's a second stop.
So he's basically like pre-locking in his decisions and super speeding through his decision tree until he comes in contact with somebody else.
Yeah, his ability is incredible and really coolly made. We have seen another character that was part of the Shibuya incident, which was the head of the Zenin clan, used what is basically this ability. So it is a passed down ability. His is a little bit more powerful, and he is going to fight against Chozo. And that the reason why is because he is trying to get Yuji, and Chozo doesn't want that to happen, and so Chozo's going to try to send him away. He's going to keep him busy. Here's an issue, though. there is another character that is apparently going to come and kill Yuji, which is Yuta.
Yeah,
Our
unrelated to the whole Naoya
super powerful
situation.
friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yuta is from the movie. We covered the movie in a single episode, so if you want to learn about Yuta, go back and listen to that episode.
Yep.
Yuta shows up and does a big fight with Yuji, and it's a good fight. And then Yuji is about to turn the tables when Yuta reveals that all the stuff he's been doing in the fight up till now did not involve his big creepy monster companion, which shows up
Yep.
and immobilizes Yuji. And then he stabs Yuji right through the fucking heart, and that's the end of episode 48.
Yep. That takes us into episode 49, which is an incredible fight, Chozo versus Noya, and it's a lot of like, I'm stronger than you, you're stronger than me, I'm stronger than you, you're stronger than me, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until finally they get to the point where he is completely incapacitated by Chozo because of an ability that Chozo does not share with any other people that have the ability to use his blood technique, which is this like supernova technique that he used against Yuji before. It's basically like all the blood that's around you suddenly explodes into spikes, and because he is just there, he is taken down. But then we are going to have Yuta show up again, and he just immediately knocks out Chozo like with one hit, and then he's like, would you like for me to heal you? I have a reverse curse technique. He's also carrying Yuji, and he's just like, I'll heal you, but you have to tell everybody that I killed Yuji, and if you could do me that favor, that would be great, and I'll heal you. And then he carries off Chozo and Yuji's dead bodies and leaves him to just be like, okay, well, I guess I'm healed, and I'm going to go deal with my family shit back at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Yuji's going to have a memory. I know this is confusing, but Yuji is going to have a memory of his grandfather. This memory seems to be from when Yuji was very young. And his grandfather has a conversation with his father that they don't trust his mother. And the Wikipedia article highlights who bears stitches on her forehead. And I don't remember that part, but I'm mentioning it here because
she definitely does.
They mentioned
it is a
it
big
there.
fucking deal because that means that she was somebody that was possessed by Mr. Jackass himself.
Okay, that's what I assumed.
Horrible monster.
The only other person we've seen with stitches on his head is the fake Jogo. Or no, Jogo was the volcano guy. Gojo, and then, oh my god, what? Geto. The fake Geto
yeah.
has stitches on his head because there's like a curse that's like a brain, he's driving.
Yeah, his name is Kenjaku. He's the fucking worst.
So I guess this guy is Yuji's mom. I don't know what the deal is. Well, I guess we'll find out. So why is Yuji having these visions if he's dead?
Yeah. Turns out that Yuta was told by Gojo that he needed to make sure that he took care of Yuji if anything happened to him, because he's like, it feels like something's going to happen to me. And so, because of that, Yuta was like, I have to kill you because they have to see a dead body, but I'm going to kill you and then immediately resurrect you so that you'll be able to come back to life with my reverse curse technique. And it turns out that it works. So that is what he has done. He's created a ruse so that Yuji can get away and fake his death and not be hunted down by more Jujutsu sorcerers while he does something important during this thing that we're going to learn about in just a second. Turns out Chozo's also there. Turns out Megumi's also there. Everybody has been pulled into this thing called the culling game. They're going to have to start it in order to get rid of all of the worries about what they're going to do. What they have to do is they have to get inside of a place where Tengen is. Tengen is a weird thing that has lived forever and creates barriers around Jujutsu High.
This was also mentioned in the movie, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't the movie. It was those episodes at the beginning of season 2.
It was the flashback episodes.
Which is right around when we covered the movie. So, and we covered those independently as well. But yeah, Tengen is like an important spirit force and is supposed to have a host, but that got messed up a couple years ago.
So, here's the thing about Tengen. first they're going to get to Tengen. They're going to meet with a whole bunch of other mooks. All mooks said are going to go into Jujutsu High School where the barrier is lightest. They're going to be able to find where they needed to go to find Tengen. The only reason why is because they have Chozo, and Chozo can always tell where his brothers are. His brothers are, like, the remnants of them are trapped inside of these like spirit vessels that they have at Jujutsu High. He is going to find through that. He is going to go up, and they're going to finally find Tengen inside of Tengen's realm. Now, Tengen is basically a force that is a human that used to be a human, but has needs the ability to be tethered back to humanity with something called the Star Plasma Vessel.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Plasma Vessel is somebody who is basically has a exact jujutsu like imprint with curse technique, or like a, it's not curse technique. It's just like you're basically a perfect imprint for this person to
The puzzle piece is going to
infuse
fit.
themselves with. Yeah, they're a perfect fit for Tengen. If they are not taken to where they needed to go, Tengen will continue to survive. However, Tengen will start to lose their tether on humanity, and they call it evolving. So they start to become different and start to become changed and start to expand what their abilities are, creating a more and more powerful and expanded barrier system that will connect to more people's souls and forces and life in the world. It's a very much like a incredibly powerful thing that is only kept in check if they are able to do this very specific weird sacrifice thing, and they weren't able to do it, and so it's getting out of hand. In the Star Plasma Vessel, once it's basically like broken from like that sequence, there is a long period of time before there is another Star Plasma Vessel.
Uh-huh.
Just like Gojo has the six eyes. The six eyes will come back as long as Gojo is able to die, and then there is another person that is born with the six eyes when he dies.
It's like you get
but
a
they're
new
not gonna be ready
avatar
to
when the
use six
avatar
eyes.
dies, but if the avatar gets
Exactly.
frozen in ice, you don't get a new avatar because there's still the old one.
Yeah. All right, so all of this is going to lead up to the fact that they're going to find out that Tokyo has been thrown into something called the culling games. In order to learn about the culling games, I'm going to stop explaining it to you right now. You need to go to that chapter that I told you about before, chapter 148, and you need to read through what the culling game is.
Nah, man, I
That
got
is
it.
all I'm saying here.
I got you. So the calling game is a big fight, and everybody's invited, and everybody has to die until there's only one person left. And everybody.
Blake is wrong. He is
shush,
incorrect.
be quiet. Everybody,
do not listen to him.
Shush. Everybody is pre-opted in, and you cannot opt out. And some people are opted in that don't know it yet because of the Shibuya incident, making people into sorcerers that haven't figured it out yet. Like a comedian at the end of the episode who's presented almost without comment. And there are also ways to add rules. I think they said there's no way to remove a rule, but there is a way to add rules, and they say this in the context of like, well, based on this, all of us are in the fight and all of us have to die. It's like, it is almost okay. So pacts are a big thing in this show, and they haven't been explored very deeply, but my understanding is that like you can make a pact, and then both parties have to abide by the rules. And because you've made a pact, their greater power is unlocked because there are hard limitations on what can and cannot happen. And this almost feels like the fake ghetto made a pact without letting anybody else know, but sort of like locked them into it. They all got signed up for a timeshare without realizing it. And now they are all stuck in a battle royale that's about to break out across Japan. And the heroes gathered here with Tengen's guidance are learning the rules of the game so that they can start brainstorming a way to add rules to the game that can help them twist the rules enough to get people out of the culling game and cause it to end without the result being that everybody kills everybody.
Yeah. Sort of. Anyways, read those rules.
I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm saying that's my impression after watching these episodes and not pausing.
Yeah. They're going to try to break Gojo out so that Gojo can deal with some all of this shit because he is the great ex machina.
Oh yeah, and they
And
have the like box that he's sealed in, like the back of the box is like in Tengen's realm, so they can
yeah,
see it, but it's not literally the box, although maybe it's connected by magic. But like they
yeah.
can't access it, but they can see it.
Yeah, it needs the barrier that is around it to be broken in order to do that. There's only a few people that can actually do it. There are a couple of weapons that have been either lost or hidden or destroyed, or is one person that is part of the culling game, and they're going to have to find that person that's part of the culling game. It's not a guy.
It's
It's
an
a
angel
character named
lady.
Angel. Yeah,
She looks like an angel.
and
She's not a literal angel.
that takes us to the I have to do this first situation,
Yeah.
which is that the Zenin clan has a lot of weapons. They have hidden weapons for a very, very long time. And Maki is like, fuck it, I'm going to go to my family's thing. I'm going to get inside of their vault of all of these weapons, see if anything is inside of there that can break into the back door of the prison realm. So she goes there. Here's the problem, though. Nobody wants her there because
Yeah.
the Zenin clan is full of horrible people.
Especially
And they
Naoya,
are...
the new leader, if Megumi's not around, who is
I
a.
don't know if I would say especially now, yeah.
Well,
Because her
well,
dad and mom are both fucking awful.
I'm highlighting Naoya because Naoya is made. You are not supposed to like Naoya because he is introduced being super misogynistic. And he
Yeah.
is that toward Maki here too. But you are right. The dad is pretty bad to Maki because I think probably due to him resenting she and her sister's existence, stopping his aspirations for leading the clan. And the
Yeah.
mom just seems like she's just fucking checked out.
She's just upset
Yeah, which
because
I am
she is
too, but I
being
still have to get
warped
through my
by...
life.
Yeah, but she's just being warped by who she has had to be inside of this family. Anyways, she's going to have a redeeming great moment at the end of this, but we'll get there. So here's the thing that happens. Maki gets there. She gets into the vault. When she looks inside of the vault, they're like, her dad is there, and he's like, we've moved all the weapons. We're not giving you anything. We knew that you would be coming because of what's happening with the culling game. And so she's like, that's bullshit. And he's just like, no, you're bullshit. And he just fucking beats the shit out of her and then throws her in a pit with her sister to die by being eaten by all of these low-grade curses that are left down there.
Yeah, they have like a Sarlacc pit of curses.
Yeah. And while she's down there, her sister is just like, look, I have one last thing that I can do. I have this curse technique, and I can make things, and I'm going to make this for you. And she gives her a piece of herself, which is her connection, her pact that she has made in order to make her sister gain the additional abilities that were passed down that she should have inherited from the previous Zenin that had the ability of this heavenly pact that takes away all of their possible curse technique, or all of their cursed energy, everything their cursed energy has attached to them, but it also grants them this incredibly powerful body that can basically fight and destroy anything it wants to. And so that is what she's inherited.
There's also
we
some
have seen this character before that had that ability.
There's commentary also on twins being an inherent problem in sorcerer families, where like basically the inherited sorceress potential of a child is split between the twins. So the existence of you having a twin sort of inherently means that you're only half as strong as fate intended. But with the death of a twin, now there's only one vessel for the intended strength. So
No. The only reason that they were able to do it here is because of Mai's particular ability.
Okay.
So Mai used her ability to give back to give Maki her full potential.
Oh, so
Basically,
it is
what she
true
used,
that if you're a twin, you're half as strong, but it is not true that
that
the
is correct.
solution is for one of the twins to die. I guess that makes sense, because
That is
otherwise
correct.
all Jujutsu
Yeah,
families would just immediately kill one twin, right?
correct. It is basically seen as a blight on your ability as a child to have twins, because those twins are going to be born half as powerful as they could have been. Um, there is talk inside of. We'll talk about this another day. But anyways, the fight here. What is interesting inside of this fight that is about to happen is that Maki goes from being uh, powerful in her own right, strong, and able to use these abilities, to being transformed into, if you remember Toji, the one that had a horrible slug monster that he carried around with him that vomited out weapons, um, and was an equal fight for Gojo, even though he didn't have any abilities other than being stupidly fast and strong. Um, Maki is going to get that ability and become the body of that.
Not the slug, but
Um,
the superpower.
yeah. So she's going to kill all those curses that are down there, and her dad is going to be like, oh my god, she's coming. She must have gained ability, but I'm going to be ready for her. So come, Maki, when you're ready. And by the time he's finished that statement, she has cut off the top of his head, and she is walking away from him as he falls over and dies. A great moment. It is also a hark back to "You're Already Dead" moment from old anime. It's great. Then she is going to proceed to kill
Everybody.
everyone in the Zenin household.
Yeah, this is
Um,
a a clearly direct and intentional reference to Kill Bill Volume 1.
oh my god, that fucking moment.
Uh-huh. Pete and I looked at each other at the start of this and we were like, this is Kill Bill, right? And then it like cut to another shot and showed the floor, and he was like, well, that's the exact room where this sequence in Kill Bill takes place.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty fun callback to a reference.
It's
I
also
really like it.
it's also really cool because Tarantino in Kill Bill was intentionally referencing a lot of anime that he grew up on. That is why there is a sequence in Kill Bill that is anime, because he
Yeah.
loved it and it influenced him a lot. And so now here we have the full circle where now anime is referencing that, and that was really fun too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking great. Um, Here's the thing, though. None of the Zenin clan are going to be able to stand up to her. They are going to throw their techniques at her, which is pretty fun to watch. There is apparently a character that has the ability to create giant highs around you and press you into the ground. There is another character that can use a big giant two earth-bended hands that are going to clap you in the air. That doesn't work on her either. Her Ogi has the ability to create like a big giant bunch of fists that come down from the air and like slam on top of you. And that also doesn't work on her. She's going to kill all of them. And then finally we get to our new friend that we met that we hate, Naoya. Who is going to run real fast, and he's going to be like, Maki, you can't stop me. Nobody can stop me. You're just a woman. No woman can stop me. And she's going to punch him so hard.
Yeah.
It's just going to shatter every bone in his face. And he is going to pull his rotting corpse of a face back into the household.
Yeah, you actually, they do the
mother,
X-ray thing where you see his face shatter. It's very satisfying because he sucks a lot.
Yeah, we say shatter, but we really do mean disintegrate all the bones in his face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he is going to pull himself into the house while dying, and Maki's mother, who has been freed from the Zenin clan and hurt by Maki but not killed, is going to be finally give her final bullshit attack on Naoya to finish him off.
She has been fatally
stabs
wounded,
him in the back.
so she's dying for sure. But like, yeah, she uses her last moments of life to take him out too.
Yeah. And Maki is going to leave. There should have been explosion behind her because that's how badass she was when she left.
Yep.
because only cool guys walk away from explosions. Anyways, and that's where we're going to leave you. It is a lot of information.
You should
It is something that is very dense and should be watched and also read.
maybe read it. Yeah, I think you should watch these episodes for the fights, but you should read these chapters for the content because it's really dense. And as somebody who has only watched them and had a 3-month break between watching the last ones and now, I'm really struggling to keep up. To the point that if I were watching this independently, I might stop because it's so hard to follow. So what's the chapter people should check out?
148 is where you should check it out if you want to read the chapter. There is also the Jujutsu Kaisen wiki that has the culling game rules broken down. However, the problem with the wiki is that it is also going to give you spoilers. Because it's also going to give you updated rules, which is going to spoil that there are updated rules that happen.
Yeah, you might want
to. So just be aware.
You might want to carefully Google like what the basic or original or starting rules are and try to limit your viewpoint. I'm sure you could do that and then maybe like find an image on your results
chapter
page
148
and just find that.
Go to chapter 148.
Go, get a manga subscription. It's not expensive. Go read it.
Yeah. With all that being said, stick with us after these credits and we'll tell you what's coming on next week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Blake and Spencer Get Jumped. If you're interested in finding more episodes of our show, you can join us over at getjumped.buzzsprout.com. It has all of our links for our social media and for our Discord as well if you want to get involved and start chatting with us. Also, if you are interested in more content like Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, or you just want to read random musings on Blake's blog, you can go over to thegeeklygrind.com. You can get all of our episodes there, as well as weekly content from Blake's blog. All right, see you next time.
Next time on Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, we're watching Fire Force, episodes 25 through 28.
Yeah, you better not let anybody put more bugs in your body, because nothing makes me have a good time like thinking about somebody putting a bug in my body. God, that's like the weirdest, worst thing about Fire Force is like that. I mean, other than the like, casual misogyny and all that kind of stuff, and like the sexualification of these people.
The anime
but like, man,
bullshit,
like somebody taking a bug and just like putting it in you, like, come on.
Don't
Gross.
do that.